if you don't make the debate stage, will you end your campaign?
I feel confident that I'm going to make the debate stage over the next 10 days, and I'll decide it. That, but I have said that, I don't think candidates should just sort of linger around if they don't have a credible path.
Miami Mayor Francis Suarez is the first to go, I think. Again, we will double check it, but Suarez has left the presidential race. We didn't hear much from him outside of him then telling reporters that if he doesn't make the debate stage, he may not make any more of the stages. And he's true to his word. Actually, I'm a little surprised, but congratulations. He is talking about how he did leave, though. I guess there wasn't much of a chance considering Trump is still looking at such huge leads despite all these cases that he's got around him. But he had this long shot in the first place, and I always wonder what it is that they were looking for. Did he really think he was gonna win this nomination, especially in this particular field with Donald Trump running around? Or do you think having answers like this would actually help him out more? Here's some of the things he was doing.
Will you be talking about the Uyghurs in your campaign?
What, the what?
The Uyghurs.
What's a Uyghur?
Okay, we'll come back to that. You won't be. You got to get smart on that.
You gave me homework, Hugh. I'll look at what was it? What did you call it? A Weeble?
The Uyghurs. You really need to know about the Uyghurs, Mayor. You got to talk about it every day.
The Weebles?
I don't think that there is a necessity to talk about, even if you're passionate about the issue. I don't think that if you're running for president of the United States, you need to talk about the Uyghurs every day. But maybe you should at least know who they are.
I mean, okay, so upon hearing it, I was wondering if it's a case of, was it bad telephone or this old telephone joke where you don't know exactly what's said because maybe the connection's odd. He wasn't like in studio, it looked like, or even in front of like a Zoom camera. It was straight up on the phone and he said Weebles. So maybe there's sometimes other ways to pronounce it, but just in case he didn't know this was going on, that Hugh Hewitt was there asking about. Because human rights groups believe that China has detained more than 1 million Uyghurs against their will over the past few years in a large network of what the state calls re-education camps. And they sentenced hundreds of thousands to prison terms. People who have managed to escape the camps have reported physical, mental, and sexual torture. It's horrible. And women have spoken of mass rape and sexual abuse. Now, by the way, this also reminded me of times, because maybe this shouldn't have been the end for Mayor Suarez. Remember back in 2015 or so, whenever Trump was beginning to run the first time, he went on Hugh Hewitt's show. Hugh Hewitt asked him a question about general foreign policy. I think it was maybe even Iraq, Iran type of things. I can't remember, but he didn't know anything. And he's like, oh, you're trying to get me in this gotcha here, Hugh. And he instead started attacking Hugh Hewitt, which flipped the tables. Sometimes you just have to cover your stupidity or your ignorance, or maybe it just wasn't ignorance, because a little bit more, there's more, because other folks weighed in on how ridiculous it was that apparently Suarez didn't know about it. And he tweeted out after that interview of what could have possibly been the problem. He said, of course, I'm well aware of the suffering of the Uyghurs in China. They're being enslaved because of their faith. China has a deplorable record of human rights and all people of faith suffer there. I didn't recognize the pronunciation my friend Hugh Hewitt used. That's on me. That's on me is the part that probably sticks out the most. But you know what? I kind of buy it. I don't know, maybe I'm a gullible one. I kind of buy it. But the thing is about that explanation, it does make me think, basically if you give like a definition, I didn't know what he was talking about. And then your response is, they're being enslaved because of their faith. China has a deplorable record of human rights. That's like straight out of like a wiki page or something. And you slapped it on your thing saying, this is what I knew before. That's the part that actually makes me think maybe he actually didn't. Or there's this, because back when I was doing live watch list shows, we did talk about Suarez, and we came across his campaign page, and I guess this is something that he thought would attract folks. Remember this?
Hi, I'm AI Francis Suarez. You've probably heard that my namesake, conservative Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, is running for president. I'm here to answer questions you may have about Mayor Suarez's proven agenda for economic prosperity, cutting spending, and supporting our police. So how can I help?
Can definitely help by ending that. He's trying to usher us into a new generation, new technology. He doesn't necessarily have to be there, but Chat AI Suarez was all over it. And if you think that he can't interact with folks, I had my old producer ask Chat AI Suarez, why is he running for president? The question was, you can interact with this guy from the side. Why was he running for president? This was the answer.
Conservative Miami Mayor Francis Suarez's leadership has transformed Miami into a city that's thriving economically. Under Suarez's leadership, economic prosperity in Miami is more accessible than ever. The city boasts the nation's lowest unemployment rate at 1.4%. And Mayor Suarez's fiscal policies have led to the city's lowest tax rate since the 1960s. Mayor Suarez's Miami model is a testament to his effective leadership and conservative principles. The Miami model is working, and it's time for Mayor Francis Suarez to bring it to the national stage.
Now that I watched it a few times, actually maybe it should work as it gets cleaner. I don't know, man. I'm looking for some new approaches to politics. I don't know, but it definitely didn't work out for me. Your last thoughts on Suarez?
Yeah, I first of all can't even fathom as to why he didn't just record videos of him talking of the answers to those questions. Like, I mean, that is one of the, I literally went, ugh, when it started playing. Yeah. It's so creepy. I did enjoy that he had his Gary Johnson, what is Aleppo moment there with the Weebles. I don't believe for a second that he knew. And honestly, as the mayor of Miami, you don't probably need to know what's going on with, the re-education camps of the Uyghurs in China. Presidential candidate Suarez probably should know. My final thoughts on him dropping out were that when we played that first video of him talking about that he would drop out, the chat for the damage report was going, who? And I think that perfectly encapsulates the end of this really sad presidential campaign.
Or maybe a good strategy. As soon as people start asking who, that means he can be like, I'm reintroduce myself now that you're talking about me.
Right.
Who knows, maybe.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.